I finally broke down and spent $157 on a skidding cone. Getting logs out of the woods when you don't have heavy equipment or when the woods are too steep to get heavy equipment into is a problem. Dragging them on the ground results in snags on stumps and everything else and gets the logs mighty dirty in the process. I should have bought this thing when I bought the sawmill more than a year ago. That's almost 300 feet of rope, and here's where the log ended up before I got the skidding cone. Can't say this is the most fun I've ever had. This is pretty well jammed in. The hard part is getting the rope off the log so I can move it around the trees. Got to get the rope off it. There we go. The plastic skidding cone slides so easily, every time I set it down, it tries to get away from me. So the rope goes through the front of the skidding cone. Like here we're up on a stump. That might be a good thing. Now I have to lift the log off the ground enough to get the rope underneath it. Then I'll have to do the same to get the skidding cone under it. Okay, the loop is under the log, under the first inch of the log. I need a little more than that. I think I've got enough on there to hold it. And the hard part is going to be just dig out in front of the log, put this there, prop it up on something. It's in the cone, and we're ready to pull. So here's what I've accomplished. Now this, when I start pulling, this should slide the rest of the way into the cone. The whole thing should slide down the mountain. Where those two straight branches are lying on the ground, those are supposed to deflect things to the left around that tree. But with the angle this has got on it, I'd say that's highly unlikely. Look at this, I'm on the wrong side of this tree. Wrong side of this tree, gotta do it again. So I gotta take this off, go around, or cut that tree. I think I like that idea. I hiked back down the mountain to the ATV for the chainsaw. Not the big heavy 041 I recently acquired, but a much lighter MS-180. See this one and three more that I may have to cut. Because of the tangle of branches overhead, these trees would not fall. I'd try to cut them in such a manner that they would fall on the other side of the rope. This little one is small enough I could lift it once it's cut off the stump. Then I cut the stump off close to the ground. From there to here is a narrow shot. So that tree the rope is against, and the two to the right of it might have to go. We'll see. I hope not. That works pretty damn well, I'd say. Got it to there. It'd still be going, except wrapped around the trees, and the ATV came to an abrupt halt. A lot of stretching these ropes there would have been really abrupt. So now I have a choice. Got 3 trees. So we've stripped all the bark off this one anyway. And there's a saw way up yonder. One big advantage of my lifestyle is I don't have to go to a gym to stay in shape. This tree is not going to fall outside the rope. But that's all right. It's small enough I can lift it over. I planned to do the same thing with this tree, but it turned out to be a little bit too heavy. I know I'm not going to be able to lift this tree once it's cut, so I cut it so that it would fall on the other side of the rope. I wasn't careful enough with the second cut, however. It did not meet the first cut evenly, so the tree did not fall. that. The chain was pinched in the cut and I couldn't pull it free. I could slide the saw forward though, so the weight wouldn't bend the bar. The bar is clear, but the chain is still in there. Now all I had to do was give the tree a twist, except the intertwined branches overhead would not let it turn far enough. Mindful of sticks raining down, I traded my cap for my helmet. Still couldn't break it free. Time for Plan B. Done. Too heavy to do this. Oh, get off of there. I can't lift that one. What I can do though is cut it in here and kick it over that way. I'd somehow put my camera in time lapse. I slowed it down considerably for this brief clip. Oh, all of us up here staged, ready to drag back up the hill. The rest of these logs are so far up, I don't have enough rope to reach from here. So we'll stage them on the ATV up there with the turning block. Pull them all down somewhere up there and pull them all down here. This is chained up. I think it will stay. Let's see if we can get all the way to the sawmill with it. Keeping the cone from skidding ahead of the log turned out to be a problem that I didn't solve immediately. Another problem is it skids so well it tries to pass the ATV. It slipped up on one side far enough that the tire picked up the cable and ran over it. The ATV stopped. I thought the log had snagged on something, so instead of getting off to investigate, I just gave it the gas and away we went, all the way to the sawmill. The only good thing I can say is the duct tape held the hook on the cable. The log is no longer in the cone, but it's steep downhill and I'd done it this way before, so I just kept going, not realizing the cable was wrapped around the axle. That brake line's gone. The brake line was okay, the brake was not. Here's what we got. I've got to take that off. See if I can fix it. If I can't fix it, buy a new one. This is ugly. I don't know if I can turn this off. I think I'm going to have to pry this up towards straight before I can do anything. The rotor, can't tell if it's bent yet, but yes it is. Yes it is. This is
It's going to be what's known as a son of a bitch.
This gets pretty involved. I'll deal with it in a separate video. And next time, on part 4, I'll show how I solved the problem of the cone getting ahead of the log.